7 days a week. That's what I'm giving you guys these days. Let's go. Can you tell I'm back in season mode? I took some time off this off season to refine and rest and travel and all that while continuing to build the vault. But 7 days a week. That's what I'm giving you guys right now. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. I figured why not go live here quickly before game day tomorrow, before college football kind of gets underway. Good slate of games throughout the college football world. I got a dinner date coming up tonight here in St. Pete, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your weekends. If you could on the way in, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift giving membership on this weekend. I'll get to as many super chats as possible. The guest lines are also open, and it's brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. If you want to learn more about what's going on at Preston, scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner. I'll tell you more about them in just a bit. Okay, here's what I've got going on. Multiple reports reveal that it is officially go time for former undrafted rookie running back Keaton Mitchell. Will he be active for the first time this season coming up tomorrow against the Texans inside the bank? That could very well be the case based on some reports. We'll get into those and a whole lot more. More Ravens trade deadline chatter ramps up. We are 1 month out, guys, today. 1 month out today is the trade deadline at 4 p.m. Eastern. So we'll have some chatter about that. Tributes after Arthur Jones lost his life way too soon have been pouring in all throughout the sports world. And could Justin Tucker be making his NFL return at some point in the next month or so? That and a whole lot more is what I got coming up. Happy weekend yet again. And let's dive into the Keaton Mitchell chatter. Here we go. Jeremy Fowler, one of several reporters, noting that Keaton is expected to be active on Sunday. And yes, that gives Baltimore and Cooper Rush, who's expected to be QB1, a speed option out of the backfield. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, noting this. We know that Keaton has been inactive to start off this season. Keaton is, come December, 2 years removed from a very, very serious, devastating knee injury. If you are squeamish and you don't respond well to injury replays and things of that nature, just look away from the screen. And not to bring it back up, I'll only play it once. It is hard to watch. But December of 2023, that right there was the ACL tear, a brutal ACL tear against the Jaguars in what was a tremendous start to Keaton Mitchell's career. Again, the undrafted rookie, somebody that brings a level of explosiveness and just dynamic nature to this Ravens backfield. That has what has really been backbreaking to him in so many ways, because even last year when you saw him in a small sample size at times, you thought to yourself, much like was the case with with J.K. Dobbins coming back from his ACL tear, there was just something missing. There was that extra gear that he wasn't able to call upon. And so it's been a long time coming. Keaton had a great preseason this past summer. But knowing what Todd Monken's comments were earlier on in the offseason about the challenge that he was kind of foreseeing it would be and ultimately has become to get Keaton touches, he just hasn't been involved in this offense. And a lot of that has to do with what their backfield consists of in Derrick Henry, in Justice Hill, and somebody who they view as the more valuable special teamer and the primary kickoff return specialist in Rasheen Ali, last year's 5th-round pick out of Marshall. So, Keaton exercising an incredible amount of patience, I'm sure. He tweeted out last month on the 28th, God's timing with an hourglass, hashtag stay down. Well, I don't think you need to stay down any longer because he's going to be up coming up tomorrow if these reports are true. Keaton told us back in April on the Vault and our draft coverage that when he does get that opportunity this year, it's going to be a movie. Let's revisit those comments.
Came back. I felt good. I was practicing, came back practicing. I was actually like doing real good in practice, like crazy, like feeling good. Breaking a couple runs. So they threw me out there on kickoff return. I guess they didn't want me to rush back and just give me the load. Obviously, you got Derrick Henry and Justice Hill, great running backs. So it wasn't really no need to rush me back, but they thought I could make a difference on special teams. So came back and tried to do that, did the best I could do. But now I got some time off to be able to really take care of my knee and do the things to get back to my normal self. Now I feel 100% back to my old self, running with the guys, full speed. It's gonna be a movie this year for sure.
What did he join us for? What felt like 2 hours back in April? Right? I know a lot of you guys were live with us that night for coverage during the draft. But again, that was 15 months removed from his ACL tear. Quote, got some time off to be able to really take care of my knee and do the things to get back to my normal self. Now I feel 100% back to my old self, running with the guys full speed. He clocked over 21 miles an hour, I think, or somewhere around there for the first time since pre-ACL tear at one point, I think, during this offseason that I remember him talking about on a podcast. And then he said, nah, it's going to be a movie this year for sure. Now, at the time, maybe he wasn't aware of the fact that he wasn't necessarily going to have a chance to go and create that movie or make that movie through the opening part of this season because, again, he's been a healthy scratch so far through the first 4 weeks. And when coaching staff members are asked about it, like Chris Horton was last week, they continue to point to special teams, that they're content with what they have from a special teams perspective. Well, guys, now their backs are against the wall. And while it's not a must-win mathematically speaking this upcoming weekend, it certainly feels like a must-win given the fact that they will likely be without Lamar until week 8. Coming out of the bye and knowing the way that this team really in all three phases has underperformed so far to the tune of a 1-3 start, right? And their backs are up against the wall. They just are. And if you can get any kind of flair, any kind of explosiveness, any kind of productivity, misdirection, right? Everything that Keaton Mitchell brings to your backfield, whether he is directly or indirectly involved with a play, you're going to need that. And I get the sense that Keaton's going to be running like a bat out of hell if he gets the opportunity. Let's cut back to December of 2024 when he told Morgan Atzett and the Fox 45 crew in a locker room media scrum that he, quite frankly, was feeling antsy. I'm sure if he was feeling antsy then, he's got to be feeling like he's ready to break out of a cage right now.
Crucial for everybody. I'm just coming here every day, putting in the work, just trying to be available for the team and just trying to be able to be that spark for the team. And whenever they feel like they want to throw me out there, I would just make sure I'm ready.
You've had to be so patient through the injury and then patient, finding your way back
Yes,
in
ma'am.
Are you getting antsy?
Yeah, I am. But just continue to be patient and just be ready when your name is called.
December of 2024, John Harbaugh during the owners' meetings this past spring.
He's been on schedule. He's been on track. That was a really tough injury. So the fact that he got back when he did was, to me, almost like miraculous. That he was out there playing it all. I'm almost certain, as much as you can be sure, he's going to be a whole nother level coming back in the spring and then again in the training camp because he's going to be, a year and a half out of that deal. So this will be his second year. Most knee injuries, it's your second year. This one, I think that's especially true about.
A whole other level, a movie, right? All just to be inactive for the first 4 weeks. So this is a player that is going to be extremely motivated and that can bring a lot to keeping Houston's defense, which really by all accounts is firing on all cylinders and the sole reason that has kept this team really in games because of how much the offense is dragging the Texans down. This is a defense that you got to throw the kitchen sink at. D'Amico Ryans has this group playing really good football. Okay, they're 5th overall in total defense. They're 12th against the run, 7th against the pass, 1st in scoring, guys. They're allowing just 12.8 points per game through 4 weeks. They're 13th on third down, 10th on fourth down, and 24th in the red zone. So, look, do I expect Keaton to get, I don't know, 10 plus snaps? I don't know. I don't, quite frankly. I don't feel confident in that. But can he be used if it is 10 or less? Can they be impactful snaps? Right? Can he get involved in special teams as a primary kickoff return specialist alongside Rasheen Ali? Can you get involved maybe the quick screen game, right? Because it's going to be really important for Cooper Rush, as we all know, to get the ball out of his hand quickly. Here are the numbers, by the way, if you're wondering what this rushing attack looks like so far through 4 weeks. Of course, Derrick Henry leads the way with 284 yards, just 49 carries. I think we spent plenty of time this week sharing context about where he ranks, I should say, up against, in terms of overall carries and attempts, and Dan Orlovsky's rant we shared, and Marcus Spears, right? You have to use Derrick Henry more, whether it be in short yardage situations. Again, doesn't need to be directly involved in the play. He can be indirectly involved in the play. His presence, much like Keaton's, given the explosiveness, given that element of speed, has to be taken into account for from the opposing team's defense. It's been a really slow start for Justice Hill. He struggled in blitz pickups at times, and productivity, although I have a really hard time ripping Justice Hill at all because he just hasn't gotten that many opportunities. 8 carries, 69 yards, always involved in the passing game, by the way. Justice has 12 receptions for 107 yards. And I feel like things always go in the positive direction when you get Justice involved in the screen game. And I feel similarly for Keaton. He's got a sure pair of hands. He's got great vision, great cutting ability, even post ACL tear. Again, he'll be 2 years removed from that ACL tear come December of this year. So the quick passing game is going to be paramount, imperative. Obviously, pass protection is vital. I'm not confident that Cooper Rush is going to have a bunch of time to sit in the pocket, survey the field, which is why I think these quick slants, these quick intermediate passing attack concept routes, right, will be important for Todd Monken to dial up to settle Cooper Rush into this game, assuming that the Texans are going to sell out to stop the run by any means necessary. One more clip here from Derrick Henry this past offseason talking about what he's seen in his running mate, Keaton Mitchell, courtesy of Bowie TV and friend of the show, Karita Parks.
You've seen from Keaton, he looks like he's more comfortable getting back up to his top speed. So what have you seen from him?
Yeah, I mean, he put a lot of work in to get back to this point. I know how bad he wants it and how hard he worked to get back to, what he feels like himself. And he's been showing it through OTAs and camp, and I think we all seen flashes of him making some splash plays, and that's just who he is. And that is credit to him and his work ethic to get back to where he wants to be an explosive player.
Sorry for some of the low audio there, but I think you get the point, right? Everybody's saying and doing the right things when it comes to sharing their perspective on what Keaton Mitchell is right now and what he can bring to this organization in a dire time of need, right? This is a dire time of need. You're in must-win mode. You're trying to keep this sinking ship above water. You're trying to weather the storm, right? Led by Cooper Rush, at least in terms of managing the game as a quarterback until Lamar Jackson can get back healthy. Now, I mentioned that they're going to sell out, you would think, the Houston Texans will, to stop the run, especially given their track record against Derrick Henry. And while it's been a lot more successful over the last 3 games on average since DeMeco Ryans took over against Derrick Henry, 2 of which were, by the way, as a member of the Tennessee Titans, overall, Derrick has owned Houston in 15 career games, guys. He's put up 13 rushing touchdowns, 280 carries, over 1,500 rushing yards, and that works out to 5.6 yards per carry. He's been a crowned king and then some against these Texans, and that included Christmas Day last year when he put up 147 rushing yards in what became a 31-2 rout of Houston on Christmas Day. And that was at their place in Texans country. Now, as I was quote tweeted, and I think this is a good point, DeMeco Ryans is pretty darn good defensive coach. And as you saw here at Texans commenter, added in a little bit of context over the last 3 games, again, only one of which was when Derek was in Baltimore. He's only faced the Texans once since becoming a Raven. Here's what he's done overall, though. 55 carries in those 3 games since DeMeco Ryans took over in Houston. 198 rushing yards. 147 of those came on Sunday, or excuse me, on Christmas Day last year. 3.6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. So Texans commenters trying to take a victory lap or trying to, I think, I don't know if it's he or she, but assuming that it's a dude that runs this account, I think he's trying to, find reasons for optimism that tomorrow might be different, especially without Lamar Jackson in the backfield. And maybe that's the case. This is a stout defensive front. Okay, you've got a duo pass rusher group that star-studded. Danielle Hunter is a star. Will Anderson Jr. is a young star. And they've got solid players in level 2 and particularly in level 3. You look at their depth chart, and they've got talent all over the field, right? Jalen Petrie is a talent. Lassiter is a talent. Derek Stingler Jr. might be top 2, top 3, top 4 cornerback league-wide. So they got some dogs on every single level, and DeMeco Ryans leads the way as their defensive-minded head coach. So I have no doubt that the Texans are going to do everything in their power to sell out to stop the run. And how are the Ravens going to respond to that? How are they going to move the ball effectively if this offensive line is not knocking people back, is not opening up gaps and lanes and windows for Derrick Henry? How are they going to respond? And I think one way you do that, and maybe the only way you do that, in effectively moving the football with using all of the weapons that Cooper has at his disposal, who are healthy offensively, is the quick passing game. You have to win the intermediate game. You have to win the screen game. And you have to earn the right to test the vertical passing attack. I don't know if they're even going to have a chance with some of these late developing routes that Dan Orlovsky has talked about to even test them vertically tomorrow. But they got to give them a darn good chance to do that, because Cooper Rush is not going to be able to minimize some of the weaknesses that have come along with this offensive line, particularly the guard play and pass protection, given his lack of mobility. Cooper caught up with reporters yesterday, talked about the opportunity. And of course, this was prior, I guess, officially to Lamar being ruled out. But here is QB1 coming up tomorrow in Baltimore.
Franchise QB goes down. It's always sky is falling feeling everywhere you are. And it's normal. And, if you have to go out there on Sunday and do what you got to do, and it's nice knowing you had a whole week to prep for it. So things like that are good. Yeah, just go be yourself. You're here for a reason. You're in this league for a reason. There's no mistakes in this league about guys that are out there. And so you trust yourself, you remind yourself you're a football player, this is what you do, and you have a blast doing it.
In comes Cooper Rush. 14 career starts under his belt, all of which came in Dallas. He was 9-5. Guy's above 500 as a regular season starter, filling in for Dak Prescott over the years. Granted, the Cowboys' offensive line has proven throughout those 14 career starts to be a lot more stout, a lot more continuity than what Baltimore has right now. But 9-5 is 9-5. Good for you, Coop. And that's why the Ravens went out and got him very early on in the free agency process. And they were knocked by some. They caught some flack by some of you within the fan base for that move. And I don't understand why. It was an immediate upgrade over Josh Johnson. You clearly weren't going to go with Devin Leary based on his development or lack thereof. And they hadn't yet went and got Tyler Huntley, who I believe does not give them the best chance to win. Sure, were there other more proven, if you will, or more encouraging or more stylistically similar quarterbacks to Lamar out there and available? For sure. But why wouldn't you go with Cooper? Like, what's the knock against going after Cooper Rush? Now, granted, I know he didn't look great in preseason, and I know he didn't look great in a really tough situation coming in cold for Lamar in the fourth quarter last week in Kansas City. But what was the knock against Cooper Rush? The guy can manage a game. The guy is an accurate thrower of the football. And he brings a track record that I think suggests, and maybe even more than suggests, that he can hold down the fort for the next couple weeks. I don't care how he looked in preseason. I look, you know what? Major media, I don't mean to attack you specifically, but can we stop making evaluations from preseason to a certain extent? There's only a percentage of legitimate evaluation that could be had from the preseason. Come on. Like, why are we hanging our hat on preseason? What are you talking about now with the price tag? The Ravens went and got Cooper Rush. Don't be surprised by that agent speak number that came out initially. I'm going to remind myself right now of his Ravens contract. It was not what it was once reported at. What was it? Like 6 something? Up to $6 million? That means up to $6 million with incentives. Let me remind myself right now what it was, because it was not what you're referring to it as. Let me see here. You can't get fooled by some of the agent language when they send that out to the insiders. 2 years, $6.2 million, 2.7 and change signing bonus, 4 of which is guaranteed, an average annual salary of 3.1. In 25, he's going to earn a base salary of 1.2. Let me make sure I pull this up so you guys can see it. Again, you cannot get fooled by the initial reports that are sent out to the insiders. Those are crafted so that they look inflated. So from an agent perspective, that looks attractive, right? Not that Cooper's deal isn't attractive as it is, but let me make sure I pull this up. See it right here? And then the breakdown's right here. We'll get to that in a second. 2 years, $6.2 million. 2.745 million signing bonus, 4 million guaranteed, average annual salary of 3.1. But what you really need to look at is in 2025, base salary of 1.255, signing bonus 2.745. Okay, cap hit of 1.9. This is a great deal for somebody of his caliber. I just had his numbers up on the screen. Like, the Ravens have a really capable, more than serviceable QB2 that, yes, is stylistically unlike their quarterback, which has not been the case in recent years. With Snoop, Josh was a lot older than Snoop, obviously, when he was serving as the primary backup, and certainly not as mobile as Tyler is and was. But, like, what's not to like about this? Why is there a reason for... Are there people really out here that think that Tyler Huntley should be QB2? Have you watched him since he left Baltimore? Granted, the Dolphins are a disaster, but I just think that Cooper Rush gives you the better chance to win. Who has the better chance to keep plays alive? Tyler, of course. But who has the better chance of commanding an offense in Baltimore? I think it's Cooper Rush. That's not a knock against Snoop. To me, an offense with Snoop is more reckless, right? Snoop, to me, does not have the command of this Ravens offense, or at least didn't when we last saw him, that I think Cooper Rush has the capability of. Has he shown it yet? No, he hasn't. But it's been a small sample size. And again, I'm not evaluating him in preseason, and I have a hard time evaluating him being thrown in as he was for a couple drives on Sunday in Kansas City. That's where I'm at. Take a look at the AFC North quarterback outlook and how it's changed over the last few weeks. Jamison Hensley put this all together. This is crazy. Week 1, of course, it was Burrow in Cincinnati, Flacco in Cleveland, Lamar in Baltimore, and Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. The only dude that's still standing right now is Aaron for the first place Pittsburgh Steelers. Unreal. Jake Browning in Cincy. Dylan Gabriel makes his first career start in Cleveland week 5. Cooper Rush in Baltimore, and Aaron Rodgers, of course, in Pittsburgh. Unbelievable. Isn't that wild? So, yeah, QB2 is pretty darn important. Everybody always kind of, the primary backup catches a lot of strays, I feel like, within fan bases. Oh, it's the best job in the world. It's this, it's that. No, it's the most important job in football aside from QB1. And we're going to find out why over the next couple weeks. If Cooper Rush can weather this storm and keep this sinking ship above water and keep the Ravens in it, whether it's morale, mathematically, whatever, and give Lamar an opportunity to get that hamstring right before hopefully returning to the lineup come week 8, who's to say that if Cooper Rush goes on a win streak right now and the Ravens somehow dig deep and win the next 2 games, who's to say that the Ravens aren't like, hey, we need another week for Lamar, and we feel like we can go beat the Bears with Cooper Rush, given what we have around us, given what hopefully by then has more availability, right? This roster, the Roquans, the Marlins, right, that can potentially come back by then. Who's to say that they aren't like, hey, let's give Cooper another week coming out of the bye, and let's give, more importantly, Lamar, let's buy him some more time. Like, who's to say that won't happen? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I see the live chats going down the Shedeur Sanders route. That what I call a DNE, do not engage. Because whenever I engage, things go south, and they go south quickly. But maybe we will. Maybe we'll open up the guest lines. The guest lines are already open, by the way. Nobody's in the waiting room. What are you guys doing today? Just dicking around? Kidding. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group for sponsoring the program. We're going to trade deadline conversations next, by the way. 2+ years of a fantastic partnership with my friends at Preston Automotive Group. And if you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, I would love for you to check out Preston. You can scan the QR code that I have in the upper right-hand corner right now if you're interested in learning more. And let me tell you about what they got going on with their Ford mobile service feature. My home location when I'm in the Baltimore area is the Randallstown dealership, and I love pulling up the website, calling them quickly, and getting a mobile service appointment scheduled. They come to you, whether it's for oil changes, tire alignment, whatever. Whether you're at home, work, anywhere in between, you do not have to visit the dealership. No hassle, just top-notch service right where you need it. Oil changes, tire rotations, battery replacements, they handle it all. You can skip the trip and let Ford Mobile Service take care of your ride on your schedule. You can book your appointment today by visiting the show notes, PrestonMotor.com. And if you go to that specific link that I have, you can go back and forth with the 24/7 site operator, Monica, right here for questions that could be easily answered. Again, the incentives that are out there available to you right now, cashing in $500 towards a new or pre-owned vehicle if you tell them that you are a Bobby Baltimorean. Or if you buy 4 tires, you'll receive 50% off your alignment. You can easily contact them right here, as you see on the screen. And right now, there's over 3,455 vehicles to be exact to choose from in the available inventory section, where you can where you can break things down by price, vehicle condition. It's category by category, you name it. If you're looking for specific locations, it's not just in the greater Baltimore area. We're talking about in Virginia. We're talking about on the Eastern Shore. There is so many different locations and dealerships to choose from. And I love breaking it down by category by category. Man, they let me drive around in that F-150 the other day. They gave me a loaner for the day when my Bronco was being taken care of. And, man, I hope we can continue this partnership into 2026 because, selfishly, I am ready for my truck era, I think. There is something about a Bobby truck, hopefully in my future. But yeah, go check them out. Thanks to Preston Motor for the continued support. And thanks to you guys for hanging out with me on this Saturday. No Lamar Jackson, as we know, and this is a pretty staggering statistic as you see up on the screen. Since 2020, the Ravens averaged 6.1 yards per play when Lamar's on the field. That is tied for first across the National Football League. But as it is for most teams that lose their starting quarterback, it goes south and south quickly for overall production. When he's not playing, that number drops to 4.9. That's tied for 30th in the league. Okay, so again, yeah, this is kind of how it goes, par for the course when you lose QB1. But clearly the Ravens sometimes, as Cam Newton sort of discussed yesterday on First Take, they tend to lose a little bit of their mojo without QB1 under center. Listen to Cam's thoughts on life without Lamar coming up this weekend and potentially for the next couple weeks.
One thing that I do know, I'm going to use this prefix word of breaking because they're at a breaking point in their season. Breaking is what I will continue to use because they're either going to break down or they're going to break out. And if they do not have Lamar Jackson in this particular game coming up, I think that will be a positive. And I say it in this way. It's almost like watching the Baltimore Ravens that they're waiting on everybody else to make the play. And that's including sometimes Lamar Jackson waiting on Derrick Henry to make a play. Hey, Derrick Henry's waiting on Zay Flowers to make a play. Hey, Zay Flowers is waiting on D-Hop to make a play. Hey, the defense is waiting on Jair Alexander to make a play. Hey, they're waiting on Nate Wiggins to make a play. Hey, they're waiting on everybody else to make a play outside of each individual making those plays. So I kind of share the same sentiment as RC, but the reality is it's like, when are we going to figure it out amongst ourselves as Baltimore Ravens players? And that's what everybody is waiting on. So if Lamar Jackson does not play, now it puts the onus on everybody to say, hey, we don't have the great Lamar Jackson. Everybody has to uphold their end of the bargain, and that type of play is what we've been waiting on all year.
You guys buying that? Could Lamar be that kind of a Superman and as consistently the way he has bailed out this team for years and years and years? And has all that created a level of reliability or over-dependence, if you will? Are you buying that? The numbers suggest that without Lamar, obviously, it's night and day. But are you buying Cam's thoughts on life without Lamar? Guest lines are open. Curious to hear your thoughts on this Saturday. Holy shit. Clemson is up on North Carolina 28-3 at the end of the first quarter, and Bill Belichick is making John Harbaugh like faces on the sideline. Holy shit. Clemson desperately needs that win, obviously, if you've been following along with Dabo and the noise around Clemson's underperformance so far this year. But 28-3 at the end of the first quarter. Damn. Kyle, as he always is, in the car, on the move. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Bobby, what's going on, man?
How you doing, dude?
I'm good. What are we talking about? What do you want to chat about?
Well, did you hear Cam Newton's thoughts? Because I think I just opened that up to everybody, and it's essentially given some of the dependence or over-dependence, and every team, let's be clear, has a certain level of dependence on their quarterback. It's football, for God's sakes. But Cam's thoughts are essentially, hey, there's almost, and I'm paraphrasing in a sense here, there's an over-dependence, right? Always knowing that Lamar is going to make the play, always knowing that he's going to escape from the pocket and extend plays on a historic level, right? Which makes him Lamar Jackson. But at one point, does that become a detriment? And so now he's saying, like, look, this is a positive almost, like a weird twist on a positive that now without Lamar and their backs are up against the wall, this is going to force other playmakers to show up. Do you see the positive twist that he's seeing on it? Are you receptive to those comments?
Yeah, I'm receptive to it. I mean, you do see it all the time. Like, is this going to be a long-term? Is this like, if he's gone long-term, we're cooked. If it's a week or two, then yeah, it could be a positive. You see it all the time, right? In the betting world, a lot of the times a big strategy is if you see a coach fired, the very next week you bet on that team to win for that interim coach. That's like a very known gambling strategy because the players will rise to the occasion to try and get a win for the interim coach, right? And it's the same thing with quarterbacks. So, I mean, I see what he's saying. I think if it's for like 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks tops, it can be a positive. But anything more than that, it's not doing much for you. But I think the players can rise to the occasion to try and get a win for a backup QB if they can't, I mean, I don't know what other motivation they need. They're cooked if they don't win this game or the next game. So, I don't know.
Correct. And I'll get you out of here on this, what this live stream is all about. And if you guys are just tuning in, and by the way, thanks to David Webster for becoming my new channel member. Today's live stream is all about the report from Jeremy Fowler that for the first time this year, Keaton Mitchell is expected to be activated on game day. He's been a healthy scratch for the first 4 weeks. Come December, he will be 2 years removed from a catastrophic ACL injury. We all remembered that, and it's taken a lot to get him back. Todd Monken's comments this past offseason suggested that touches would be a challenge, and he clearly has had that challenge. He's had to face that challenge head on. He has not yet been activated. Coaches continue to be asked about it on what feels like a semi-regular basis, and they continue to point towards special teams, being that Rasheen Ali figures to be in front of him from a special teams perspective. But now, given the state of this Ravens defense, given the state of this overall group as a whole, they are having to pull out all the stops, throw in the kitchen sink, if you will, at Houston, and that means Keaton Mitchell will be activated tomorrow and available for them. Your thoughts on number 34 after lighting it up in the preseason, after bringing that element of speed that we all know and love since he was undrafted a couple years ago. He's going to be at Todd Monken's disposal. Is this going to all excitement for no reason and a letdown of only 5 or 6 snaps? Or do you think they're going to go to him whether he's directly involved or indirectly involved or not?
I don't think he's going to get more than probably 6, 7 snaps. If the inverse happened and he got 10+ snaps, that'd be awesome. But I don't think it's going to be that much of a difference. Keaton Mitchell can be a difference maker. I don't think they're going to rush right into it right away. I think they're going to just feed Henry. I mean, if Henry doesn't have 20 carries this game, what are we doing? Like, Derrick Henry alone doesn't have 20 carries this game. I don't know what we're doing. But the switch up, if Keaton gets 6, 7, I mean, I'd be cool if Keaton gets 10 carries this game because the defense is going to be king on Derrick Henry every second he's on the field. Every single time he's on the field because they're not worried about they're not going to be worried about the pass. If they go 0 blitz, if they go 6, 7 in the box, I mean, all they have to worry about is getting pressure on Coop because, like, it's not Lamar Jackson. Pressure this guy and stop the run, and that's a recipe for success for Houston, Bobby.
Thanks for the call, dude. Appreciate it. Enjoy your Saturday. Kyle Joyce, kind enough to spend a couple of minutes. The guest lines are open. The link to join, as you can see, is a pinned comment right now in the live chat for those of you that may want to hop on and share a thought with the national report that is out there from Jeremy Fowler that Keaton Mitchell is expected to be active for the first time this season in week 5. Dan Orlovsky's comments from earlier this week, I think, shed light on just how dire of a situation it is right now for a Ravens team that is reeling.
And they're broken. They look nothing like they have been in the past. This is the most unprepared Ravens team I've seen in years this past game against Kansas City. That's 4 days ago. Spin it forward, okay? This is a must-win for Baltimore.
Has to.
It must win. You're playing a team that's 1-3. They are mightily struggling on the offensive line. And here's my thing about Baltimore. All of us, and I don't think it was hyperbolic, said this was the most talented roster in the AFC. Play like it. Play like it. I understand Lamar may not play. You still have or should have one of the best offensive lines in football. You got a really good receiving core. You got 2 really good tight ends. You got a Hall of Famer at running back. By the way, hand them the friggin' ball.
Yeah.
No team runs the ball less on 1st and 2nd down to their running backs than Baltimore. Make that make sense. And defensively, play physical at some point. This was an organization, a football team that used to beat you up when you played them. You know that. It was like a fist fight. Yeah. Nowadays, I watch them like, good God.
Handle business.
Understand Lamar, get 2 wins, and then make a decision on them.
Get 2 wins is a tall task, especially with the way that they're playing right now And defensively, I wanted to kind of focus on some of those final comments there. We've talked enough about the utilization or misutilization of Derrick Henry, whether it's on short yardage situations, got to have it situations, or really even on early downs as well. I think we've milked that as much as we possibly can. The Ravens defense, guys, ranks 31st league wide, and overall, they're giving up over 400 yards a game. Okay. They're giving up over 140 yards on the ground. That ranks 27th. They're giving up over 260 yards through the air. That ranks 31st. They're dead last in scoring, over 33 points per game allowing. They're allowing opposing teams to convert over 40% of the time on third down. That ranks 24th. They're allowing, and this is a smaller sample size, of course, but they're allowing teams to convert on fourth down over 81%. That ranks 27th. And inside the red zone, they're 75%. That's what they're 75, the touchdown percentage, I should say, inside the red zone that they're allowing. 75% of the time, a team goes on to score a touchdown when they're inside the 20s on them. That ranks 28th through the first 4 weeks. It has been putrid defensively. And that brings me to how they can get better in that area. And how can they get better? Because right now, I should say 1 month from now, is the trade deadline. And much like they did in season prior to the deadline in 2022, they may have to be willing to go overpay for a guy, a player that maybe isn't capable of coming in and saving everything, because there's a lot that needs to be saved right now. But maybe is someone that, if they can get healthier, can be a guy for them up front, can get to the quarterback, can open up other opportunities like Nnamdi Madubuike did for Adafe and KVN last year. And most importantly, can give this fan base something to hang its hat on as things grow more and more dire by the week. November 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 month from today, is the NFL trade deadline. Mina Kimes, as I shared yesterday, just in case you missed it, had this to say in terms of what she feels like the approach should be if you're Eric DeCosta and this Ravens front office.
I think losing Madubuike for the entire season is just so brutal. Because it's no one else is walking through that. This already was a really schemed up pass rush, you guys know, and like there's no other answers on the roster, really. I mean, Van Noy will be back. We'll see if Mike Green takes a step. It kind of feels like they have to make a trade at a defensive tackle. Maybe one of the New York teams, or I don't know if Jeff Simmons might be available. That would be something I'd go to. They'll get healthier in the secondary. They'll get healthier at linebacker. But yeah, they also just look like so fundamentally unsound. You see busted coverages all over the place. They're still trying stuff. It's not working the way it used to.
Okay, so she says Jeffrey Simmons in Tennessee. I don't know who might be available with the Jets, but I do know that the Giants have a couple players that would overnight really help the Ravens out for sure. Kayvon Thibodeau being one, Dexter Lawrence being another. Again, the Ravens are going to have to be willing to perhaps strip or at least ignore some of their organizational philosophies when it comes to value and stockpiling draft picks, be willing to potentially part ways with some of their assets to go and get a player, much like they did with Roquan Smith, giving up a second rounder, coveted draft capital for him back in 2022, which at the time felt like the right move, and through the first couple of years felt like the right move, and maybe it was ended up being the right move. Obviously now, the last 2 years, Roquan really has not been the same, and whether that is more due to what's around him than what he is at this point as a player individually, I don't know. Well, that's a conversation for another day when we evaluate Roquan. And obviously it's been a revolving door alongside him as a weak side linebacker since Patrick Queen left in free agency. You know, Trenton Simpson was supposed to be that guy, and he has not proven to be that guy. He's the athletic freak. He's a specimen. He's physical, but he has not yet proven that he is a reliable, every down, weak side linebacker alongside Roquan. And because of that, they had to almost immediately last year, go to a rotation in Chris Board and Malik Harrison. And now you've got a guy in Teddy Buchanan who potentially, if Kyle Hamilton can't go, right, and let me just go about this chronologically first. Teddy has beaten out Trenton Simpson to be your starting weak side linebacker as a rookie, early day three pick. And all the best to Teddy. I hope he continues to improve. He struggled. He got picked on the last couple of weeks, as you would expect a rookie to be when you're going up against the Detroits and the Andy Reids of the world. But they're now potentially in a position where a rookie could be the main signal caller defensively, may have the green dot communication device in his ear come Sunday against Houston. And granted, it's not the most high-flying offense that's out there, but it's still capable. It still has the playmaking ability, has the playmakers, I should say, to test you. And if that ends up being the case, then Teddy's running mate will also be someone that he's not used to running with, because Roquan Smith not going to play in this game. I would suspect that Jake Hummel, Trenton Simpson, wouldn't be surprised if there's a rotation. Wouldn't be surprised if Jay Higgins gets a look, the undrafted rookie out of Iowa that made this team. So they're vulnerable right now in level 2. Now, again, all this green dot speculation is only if Kyle Hamilton can't go. He will wear that device if he can go. He's listed as questionable. We've had that. So anyway, I know I'm on a little bit of a tangent right now, and this was mostly supposed to be about the trade deadline. But the Ravens need all the help they can get between now and November 4th. And I hope they are willing to go against some of the organizational philosophies to go and get a guy and be willing to part ways with some of their assets. Could that be a Cam Jordan? Remember, these are teams that are going to be sellers that aren't going anywhere. And the New Orleans Saints, you would think, will be one of them. Nick Underhill, who covers the Saints and NFL, says there are teams interested in some of the Saints' veteran players, and they'll be watching to see who becomes available in the coming weeks, league sources tell Nick. There's a feeling around the league that New Orleans will be open to hearing offers in the coming weeks. Well, hopefully that's the case, because the Ravens, again, need teams that, unlike Tennessee, it'll be a two-way street. We know that recent dealings with Tennessee haven't exactly gone successfully for the Ravens. Go back to when they were trying to go after Derrick Henry at the deadline 2 years ago. That didn't exactly work out in their favor whatsoever. So could the Saints be a potential suitor? Could one of the New York teams be a potential trade partner? Could the Titans be a potential trade partner? Name your player. Name your guy. Give me a call. Guest lines are open. Who's the one player a month from now or in the coming weeks that you're hoping the Ravens go after ahead of the November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern deadline? Who's it going to be? Because I think we can probably all agree that there is nobody prior to all these injuries and post all of these injuries, unless it's an acquisition, it's going to come in and save this team. They got to get healthy. They got to weather the storm over the next couple of weeks, and they got to go get a guy. Nnamdi Madubuike is not coming back. Kyle Van Noy on the edge is 33 years old, probably not going to be here this time next year. Odafe Owe, contract year, not even playing 50% of the defensive snaps in recent weeks. A's like, yo, get Aaron Donald out of retirement. Hell yeah, go get him out of retirement. Call his ass up. Is he still training? That sounds like a great idea. Who's the player? Who's it going to be? KVN probably not going to be here next year. Odafe probably not going to be here next year, barring something unforeseen. Chef, how many times have I said that so far this live stream? People are saying they want an offensive lineman instead. I don't know. They still proven that they can put up points with the best of them. They're the third scoring offense. I would rather go focus on the other side of the ball, which they have not been able to overcome some of the deficiencies there. Who else? Broderick Washington hasn't lived up to expectations since they extended him. Travis Jones is phenomenal and commands, the presence or the attention to detail of, double teaming him, given he's such a force against the run. But he's been hobbling these last couple of years, whether it was the ankle, whether it's the knee, which is what he's dealing with right now. I think he's still like a candidate to be an extension guy for them, but He's been banged up in recent years. Brent Urban, a Band-Aid at this point. No disrespect to Brent at all. I think he's a fantastic dude. Beast. He's gutted through all kinds of injuries throughout his career, multiple stints in Baltimore. Brent's not going to be here for the long haul. Aeneas Peebles is a rookie, still learning the game. David Ajabo, not going to be here this time next year. Tavius Robinson has all the makings of somebody who can be a star, and I think has put out some great things on tape this year. But again, hasn't emerged as like this total game wrecker yet. Mike Green's a rookie. Shown some signs, certainly. Flashed a little bit here and there. You look at some of the pressure rates, some of the techniques that he's put on tape. I think there's a lot to like about 45. Who's it going to be? Clinton Ganaway with a super chat today. What's up, Clint? Coaches should be earning their pay this week. Injuries can't become an excuse. Every team deals with them. Coaches got to put players in a position to win. Yeah, I mean, it's a defining moment, right? Will it ultimately define John Harbaugh's legacy this week in the ultimate outcome? No, but it's a defining moment in the here and now for John. Can he keep things in stride? Can he keep things afloat? Pulling out all the stops to try and beat a Texans team that is just as desperate as the Ravens are. These are 2 1-3 teams. And you look at the future of this Ravens defense, again, whether it's contracts or just what these guys have put on tape, there are a lot of questions, a lot more questions than there are answers right now for Zach Orr's group. XVYJZ. We literally had one of the best rosters going into the season. Guess what that did, Bobby? 1-3. No shit. XVYJZ. Put your name on the username, will you? Put your goddamn name on there. Rosie says, hey, Bobby, baby, I'm your biggest fan. Rosie, I feel the same way about you. Even though you spew a bunch of bullshit on a daily basis in my live chat, I feel the same way about you. Take a look at the injury report before we bring on my guy, Juicebox. I know he's going to be bringing some heat in today. Still have Justin Tucker chatter to talk about, not as it relates to Baltimore, but as it relates to his future in the NFL. His suspension will be coming up soon here, meaning his served suspension. Matter of fact, he can return from it November 11th. That's just over a month from now. He's already drawing interest from teams. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that because the Ravens are in pretty darn good shape with what they've gotten out of their rookie. But will Justin Tucker once again be in this league? I think he will. That and more coming up, including tributes that are pouring in for the former Raven and now, the late Raven, Arthur Jones, Super Bowl champion, lost his life way too soon at 39 yesterday. We'll get into all that and more. The injury report, Juicebox, we're coming up to you in just a sec. Guys, the guest lines are open. Just to quickly rip through the injury report if you haven't been paying close enough attention. Cheeto Awuzie will make his first, he's not going to make anything. He's going to make his first absence of the year for Baltimore. He's been ruled out with a hamstring. Kyle Hamilton with a groin, questionable. Marlon Humphrey, Lamar, Emory Jones, of course, who just was activated from the NFI list, all ruled out of this game yesterday. Travis Jones and Tyler Linderbaum, no injury designation. They're good to go. Travis is dealing with a knee, Tyler with a calf. Adafe always listed as questionable with it. I did not practice on Friday. Pat Ricard, Roquan Smith, both out. Questionable for Ronnie Stanley, who's dealing with an ankle. He was a DNP on Wednesday, limited Thursday and Friday. That's a big deal because if he can't go, Joseph Noteboom's the next man up. Brent Urban, Kyle Van Noy, they're good to go. No designations. So Travis Jones, Kyle Van Noy potentially returning to the Ravens front. It's a big deal given what they're already losing and have already lost. Devontae Walker listed as questionable, although he's a full participant on Friday with an oblique. Nate Wiggins with an elbow. He is cleared, and that's good to go. And that's a great news for the Ravens secondary because Nate's been playing some good football when available for them this season. Let's get some thoughts from the Juicebox man himself. Happy Saturday to you, my brother. What's on your mind today?
What's going on? Man, I've been holding on to this for a while. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, y'all had the Nick Wright thing. So I'm gonna give people like you, Sarah, Nitro, Sip the Talent, all the podcasters and stuff that are covering the teams. I'm gonna give y'all flowers because, like the national media, Nick Wright is a Chiefs fan that they gave a platform, right? And you can hear it all when he starts talking, especially when it comes to Lamar, because the fan in him feels a little bit I don't want to say attacked. I can't figure out. I had the word, but I can't. But it just feels a certain type of way when you start talking about how good Lamar is. So I get turned off from the national media and stuff like that from a standpoint of, just like with last year, everybody knows Lamar should have won that MVP, but the whole narrative push that gets behind the media, it just drives me crazy because it's like, who do they want to prop up this week? Okay, we'll talk about him and we'll put him in a positive light. Versus, and this is where I really appreciate you, Bob, because you told us from the jump, like, you like covering the Ravens, but you're not necessarily a Ravens fan. So you and Sarah have like a perfect dynamic where she's the fan. She would be our version of Nick Wright. And then you are like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but let's just look at it from this angle. Even your when you talk about Shador, like the whole locker room thing. Normal people, I could give two shits about whether he's a mime or if he talks and spills and tells us. I don't care, because in the real world, all we really want to see is, are you the dude and can you play? If you can't play, then we'll see it on tape. We'll put on, we'll see it on the field. But like, I just get irritated with how they twist and turn and do all this stuff, or as Sarah always says, twist themselves into a pretzel just to make a point.
Yeah, can I say something real quick? Because I feel like my words are constantly misinterpreted or taken out of context when it comes to the Shador conversation. And we won't spend a lot of time on this because we're talking Ravens. Keaton Mitchell's expected to be active. We got our guy Femi in the live chat right now weighing in on some of Cam Newton's comments about being without Lamar and how it could be a positive. There's a lot to discuss right now. But as it relates to Shador, again, I thought I did a very fair job of giving my take earlier in the week. What was it? Yesterday, I think, or Thursday, one of those two. And it was essentially, hey, if I had my fun hat on with the whole mime thing, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny and playful and a funny rebuttal to Rex Ryan, because it was clearly a response to Rex Ryan's harsh comments, essentially telling him to shut his mouth, get to the front of the classroom and get your shit together, essentially. Right. So it was a hilarious rebuttal. But if I were to put my business hat on, looking at life in the NFL, it just doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve him. It doesn't serve his situation. It doesn't serve the team. It doesn't serve his teammate, Dylan Gabriel, who is making his first career start. To me, it was a great opportunity for him to just, I think he struggles when he's outside the limelight. I do. I mean, that's not personal. There's nothing personal. Right. I have no personal ill will against Shador. That's just how I feel about how he's handled a lot of this. And ultimately, the NFL told you what they feel they have in him or what Shador is at this point in his career. And that is a day 3, right? He's going to be a primary backup at some point this year, I would think. They need to get a look at him unless Dylan Gabriel steals the headline here and owns this opportunity and makes the most of it. They're going to have to get a look at Shador at some point. And my hope is, hey, for all these guys' sakes, best of luck. I hope these guys' careers pan out to everything they want it to be, because Shador, as he showed in the preseason, has potential. And obviously he showed that at the collegiate level. Anyway.
But I guess the question, with all that being said, the question I have then, if he's just a day 3 pick, he's down on the depth charts, then why you even put him on? Why even put that out there for all of us to see? Because I could tell you right now, I live in Indy. I don't know who the Colts third backup person is. It's just the problem I have with them, with the media is like you said, it is a business. They need to get views and clicks, so they're gonna put stuff out there, and then in turn it makes it look bad. I would have done the same thing if I was Shador, because it's like, what do you want me to do? How about you just let me? I don't know if he's late or first to the locker room, last one to leave. We don't know. Because number one, I don't really care about Cleveland. And also, I'm not in Cleveland, so I don't hear their local stuff. But it's just like that part of the sports media is the part that I absolutely hate. I miss the Stuart Scotts and stuff like that back in the day when Sports Center was strictly just about actual football news and not clickbait topics where Stephen A is being extra loud or Nick Wright is being crazy, doing smelling salts and stuff. It's just like, let's just get back to that. As far as Cam Newton, though, I'll say this.
Let me say one thing on that line, because I think you make a great point. ESPN, I think we can all agree, like those of us that are in our early 30s, late 20s, whatever age you are, I think we all have a certain, within a certain generation, we have a level of nostalgia looking back at ESPN, right? And so Saturday morning, this morning before game day came on, they ran like a 3 or 4 minute VO on Taylor Swift and how somehow that related to today's NFL or whatever it was. And clearly she has brought in a ridiculous amount of fanfare and new fans, and obviously has brought ratings through the roof. And there's a level of interest that's been heightened because of Taylor. Nobody's denying that. But this morning, prior to College Game Day going on, they had a Taylor Swift feature on there. And I thought to myself, like, what is going on here? And I have no problem with Taylor at all. I think she's an absolute superstar. That's a fact. But like, I'm watching like pre-College Game Day, I'm expecting for everything to be set the table on a great slate of games. And all of a sudden I find myself watching a feature on how Taylor Swift is somehow involved with today's NFL, meaning like this weekend coming up and like a bunch of different Kansas City related items. And I think to myself, who is this serving? I guess her new fans that she's brought into the National Football League.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. But the Cam thing, what he said, I feel like that's a double-edged sword, man. Because on one hand, I understand what he's saying, but on the other hand, it's like, are they? I don't know. That I don't know. Him and I like some of Cam's take. I absolutely hate most of Dan Orlovsky's takes.
Let's play it back. Let's play back Cam's comments.
One thing that I do know, I'm going to use this prefix word of breaking because they're at a breaking point in their season. Breaking is what I will continue to use because they're either going to break down or they're going to break out. And if they do not have Lamar Jackson in this particular game coming up, I think that will be a positive. And I say it in this way. It's almost like watching the Baltimore Ravens that they're waiting on everybody else to make the play. And that's including sometimes Lamar Jackson waiting on Derrick Henry to make a play. Hey, Derrick Henry's waiting on Zay Flowers to make a play. Hey, Zay Flowers is waiting on D-Hop to make a play. Hey, the defense is waiting on Jair Alexander to make a play. Hey, they're waiting on Nate Wiggins to make a play. Hey, they're waiting on everybody else to make a play outside of each individual making those plays. So I kind of share the same sentiment as RC, but the reality is, it's like, when are we going to figure it out amongst ourselves as Baltimore Ravens players? And that's what everybody is waiting on. So if Lamar Jackson does not play, now it puts the onus on everybody to say, hey, we don't have the great Lamar Jackson. Everybody has to uphold their end of the bargain, and that type of play is what we've been waiting on all year.
So I think some of those comments were maybe taken like, I don't know, maybe this whole thing's been blown out of proportion a little bit. Clearly every team has a certain level of dependence or over dependence on their quarterback. And when it comes to Lamar, I think I'm more receptive to what Cam just said because we know the lack of team building that went on around him throughout his rookie contract and the fact that they didn't necessarily fully take advantage of that window from a cap space standpoint and the lack of free agency dollars that were spent on the wide receiver position. They've tried a lot, of course, through the draft to pick and choose different wide receivers. And who knows, Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman may end up changing that narrative when it's all said and done in the coming years. But I'm more receptive to it knowing that they missed the mark a little bit, I thought, early on in Lamar's rookie window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they should have just I'm tired of the EDC with 27 picks in the draft and then we signed 6 people. Like, you package them up, move up, get a dude. I hear what Cam is saying though, and it can work. It can work from the standpoint of if all the rest of the guys that are still playing look at Cooper Rush and say, all right, guys, we got to step up and we have to do something. And then they do it. And then Lamar comes back and then they're like, well, let's just keep the train rolling like it was when Coop's in here. That way we can, it doesn't have to be all on Lamar. the defensive part scares me because he's right. No one's making plays. If everybody is making plays in the sense of them doing their job and not doing something else and getting caught out of position because they were trying to make a play, then it'll work out. But if they do start trying to do, because they always preach do your 111. So make a play within doing whatever your 111 is. Just don't be extra, and for God's sake, stop giving them 5, 6, 7 yard head starts. It's like I don't understand the playing off on one side and press coverage. And can I ask you a question? Do you think it was silly that they didn't have the guy who ran the second fastest 40 time covering the guy that ran the fastest 40 time? Like they kept putting Marlowe on him, and Marlowe was kind of getting burnt. And I feel like Marlowe is getting he hasn't played the greatest, but he gets put out of position because he's a good slot receiver that can handle big body wide receivers or tight ends. But you can put them short, speedy guys, and he gets burnt, and it kind of makes him look bad.
Yeah, Worthy had his way, just like he did week 1 last year,
Yeah.
for sure. Marlon's had a couple tough assignments this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown cooked him a couple times.
Yeah.
And granted, hey, he might be laboring right now with that hamstring, but Femi weighs in on this conversation. Juice, great catching up with you, man.
Appreciate you.
Talk soon, all right? Thanks for the call. Guest lines are open, guys. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. Fem says, I do not believe people are waiting on LJ or someone else to make a play, but I agree with Cam. It's time for everyone to look inward and do work. Probably a fair way of looking at it, for sure. Thanks, Fem. Some super chats have come in, both of which are from my guy KP, Kobe Pruitt, who writes, is it a relative win for this team if they're competitive, even if they don't win? If they look lifeless, I assume the outside noise will increase. Is it a relative win for this team if they're competitive, even if they don't win? Yeah, I guess. It's not going to feel like it. But based on what they put on tape, like, look, this is not to go after Mark Andrews again, but or at all. I never find myself going after Mark Andrews. I think he's a consummate pro, a future Ravens Ring of Honor member. And who knows if he Hall of Fame's not looking great right now, but the production over the years certainly begs the question if he can continue to finish his career maybe elsewhere outside of Baltimore next year and put up numbers, then maybe one day he is looking at Canton. But anyway, this week he said, this team has fight, right? Paraphrasing, like we're fighters. The tape said otherwise. Really, the last 2 weeks at times, they were demoralized the last 2 weeks in a number of ways, and I did not see a lot of resilience. The body language was so defeated, was so blah, that I didn't see a lot of Raven fight that we've grown accustomed to seeing over the years. So, yeah, even if they do go down and you've got undrafted rookies and practice squad players and third, fourth stringers that are fighting their asses off and this game is close and it's a coin flip, then maybe there is in a strange way, a way to look at it as a win. KP also writes, when corporations bought media companies, they did away with real journalism because it doesn't generate ad money. For instance, the Pablo Torre Clippers story rarely happens in today's environment. Dude, that's crazy. Pablo is crushing it. Isn't it like Pablo Tells All or something like that? He's a former ESPNer, crushing it with investigative journalism. Pablo is, I think he's Harvard educated, I want to say. Dude's incredible. What the hell? Mark Sanchez was stabbed in Indianapolis and hospitalized with severe injuries. Is he there to call the Colts game tomorrow? Is the Colts game in Indianapolis? Good. Holy shit. Yeah, okay, he is. Damn. Oh my God. Mark's in critical condition. You got to be shitting me. Oh God, what is going on in today's world? That is insane. Man, I was literally just in Indy for the combine. Didn't feel unsafe walking around there at all, but Jesus Christ. Excuse me. Damn. the last 2 days when I'm live, something drops that's like jaw-dropping. Arthur Jones passing at 39. Mark Sanchez stabbed in Indianapolis. Like, oh, God. All right. Guest lines are bumping right now. In all honesty, I got to go take a piss. All right. So I'm going to play. We're going to Chef and Julian and TLM. Everybody's in the building right now, and I got more content to get to as well. But first, I'm going to play this from Femi. Go take a piss, and then I'll be right back.
And what I think is philosophically disconnected is that I think Coach Monken inherently wants to be a passer. I think he wants to call passes. I think he wants to have a lot of speed on the field and spread defenses out. And unfortunately, who we are as an organization and who we are from a cultural perspective and everything that this thing was built on is about winning in the trenches. It's about big, powerful offensive linemen and running the football. And it's about a big, powerful front seven and front four and a 3-4 defense that stops the run. And I think Coach Monken, and once again, I'm not clairvoyant, but this is what I think has happened. Coach Harbaugh has probably told him numerous times, going back to last year, right? We remember the AFC Championship game when Derrick Henry had, how many carries did he have in that game? 12? 8? I don't remember what it was. It wasn't enough. And there was also times during the season where I think he got cute. And the whole Justice Hill, Derrick Henry thing, you're tipping your cap all the time. And philosophically, and you need to have the exact same play calls and the exact same kind of the way that you put players on the field. When you switch one running back out from the other, the personnel, if you just swap backs, that's fine. Call the exact same plays. At least set it up in a way that doesn't tell you, like, this is going to be a run and this is going to be a pass. And I know you guys have beat this to death. It is not helping the offensive line when the defense basically knows 85% of the time what's going to happen just based on the personnel grouping, right? And I think that Coach Harbaugh has probably multiple times since Coach Monken became the coordinator said, hey, look, we need to run the ball. I don't care if they know that we're running the ball. I don't care who knows that we're running the ball. We've got to stick with the run. And I think Coach Monken gets back to it, but then eventually, once again, my opinion, right? No one's told me this. These are Femi's opinions. He wants to revert back to who I think he ultimately is, which is a coordinator that wants to throw on 3rd and 1 and throw on 4th and 1 when you have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson back there. I don't care if you put Derrick Henry and Justice Hill in the game together and do whatever you want. At least that way they have no idea what's coming. You got both guys back there, right? There is no what we call E-package where you have 2 backs and 3 receivers out there. I never see them do that. Why not do that? Why not spread them out with the receivers and put Derrick Henry and Justice Hill together, or put Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell, or put Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry back there together. Give them something different to look at. This whole idea of throwing on 3rd and 1 and throwing on 4th and 1, and then when you do, you're moving horizontally from the snap. You're not moving up the field. You're moving horizontally, right? Like, let's go back to the Detroit call with Lamar, and the ball ends up getting batted down or whatever, or fumbled. I think you had the ball on the 1 or 2 yard line on 1st down, and you don't convert, you don't get any points out of that. That was huge in regard to the outcome of the Detroit game. And so I just think that there's this, once again, I know we're all saying it now, but I just believe that there's this disconnect between what Coach Monken wants to do and what Coach Harbaugh knows we need to do based on the personnel that we have.
Let the king be the king. Great stuff from Femi. You can go check that out on The Vault, our exclusive conversation with the former Super Bowl champ himself. He was on the 2000 team. Chef, you were up next, Chef Trez. If your camera is on, I assume you're bopping around on your weekend. Julian's here as well. Guest lines are open. Over 800 of you concurrently with me right now across all platforms. If you could, like the video on the way in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member, much like David Webster chose to do earlier on in this broadcast. You can also gift give as well, much like a lot of you do over on the Vault side of things. Okay, Chef, talk to me. Why do I feel like you're going to come after me in some way? Happy Saturday. It's good to see you. What's going on?
Good to see you too, Bobby. I ain't got nothing to come after you for. I was going to say something about Shador, but I don't even, it's a good Saturday. I don't even want to ruin it. But
dude, I just can't believe, I can't get through a live stream without something tragic happening. Like, What is going
Or
on
that,
right
yeah.
now? I'm still trying to process this. Mark Sanchez, one of the game's great analysts, by the way. I think he's a phenomenal listen. Okay, he's in critical condition right now in Indianapolis. He's in town to call the goddamn game, right? And he's stabbed last night, and he's in critical condition. So, that comes less than 24 hours after learning of Arthur Jones passing, a member of the 2012 Super Bowl team, all the stuff with Charlie Kirk that's going on. It's a really sad time right now. And you just kind of, you really count. I know it's cliche, but you really just count your blessings these days more than ever before. But we'll keep it football. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah. I mean, again, RIP to Arthur Jones and everything, and well wishes to Mark Sanchez. Like, that's just crazy in itself. And everything else that's going on, it's just crazy.
And by the way, Chef, not to cut you off, but this was going to be one of my quick hits, so I might as well just sneak this in right now. Steve Infanti covers, I think it's Syracuse. I want to say Syracuse football because that's where, of course, Arthur got his collegiate football career started. He says that Onondaga, this is up near me. That's how I know how to freaking pronounce this. Onondaga County Sheriff's spokesperson says that Arthur's pacemaker went off yesterday morning. It sent a message to his doctor. EMS responded to his home just before 11 a.m. He had already passed away by the time they got there, and he had a pre-existing heart condition. So it's so tragic that Arthur's life was cut short at 39 years young. Won a Super Bowl with this team. There has been an outpouring of support all throughout the NFL and sports world. Eric DaCosta released this statement yesterday. We are terribly saddened to learn of Arthur Jones' sudden passing. His presence was a gift to everyone he encountered. His big, bright smile, infectious energy, and eternal positivity created a presence that continuously uplifted others. He was kind, courteous, enthusiastic, always displaying a love for family, teammates, and friends. We send our deepest condolences to the Jones family and all who loved Arthur. I saw Dreams weighing in with a super chat as well. He says, give Keaton some end arounds like they do Zay, and we ball. And also, just for the purpose of what we're talking about right now, rest in peace to Arthur Jones. Hopefully they wear a patch for him the rest of the season. So, Queon, thanks for the super chat. And again, this now is your time. Sorry, Chef.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And again, RIP to him and everything. Yeah, also, he has such a talented family, too. I mean, John Jones and Chandler Jones as well. Without getting into, all the other stuff, but just talented family.
Yep.
But I think for the Ravens coming into this game against Houston, obviously, really a must win. I don't think the fan base can really tolerate any more losses. But I think finally having Keaton Mitchell activated is one step towards, making sure that you get a win. But the next step is going to be how you use him. I'm not saying Keaton Mitchell is going to be out there every down. Yeah, obviously he's not. I mean, Derrick Henry should really be out there. He's an every down back, to be honest. But when you need that change of pace back, yeah, you can have it in there with Justice Hill, but also get Keaton Mitchell in there too. Shoot, have Henry and Mitchell. I mean, the fan base has been calling for Henry and Mitchell at the same time for years. So I feel like that's just the biggest thing that, like, if we can see that and it's working effectively. I mean, again, it's Cooper Rush. I don't expect him to be as good as Lamar when it comes to, like, not running read option, but just having some type of sleight of hand when it comes to handoffs. And am I handing it to Henry, or am I going to hand it to Keaton Mitchell or Justice Hill or something? Just having some layer of that in the game would be crucial.
Yeah, even if, again, I keep saying, like, and the same thing is with Derrick Henry on short yardage situations, right, where he hasn't been in the game and those gotta have it moments. I'm not saying he has to be directly involved. Sometimes when you're indirectly involved in a play, you're just as like even Zay Flowers with some of the misdirection stuff that they were doing last year. Like that forces opposing defenses to take that into account. I mean, Keaton's sheer presence alone out there could be very impactful early on in this game as Houston's trying to get a feel for, what Todd Monken's going to do, knowing that they have got to use Derek early and often. And I would assume that D'Amico is going to sell out by any means necessary to stop the run. Just because there's, more news about this that we're all talking about. Fox Sports just released a statement a short while ago on Mark Sanchez. He was injured in Indianapolis on Saturday. He's currently recovering in the hospital. Okay, good. In stable condition. It went from critical to stable condition for Mark Sanchez. We are deeply grateful to the medical team for their exceptional care and support. Our thoughts and prayers are with Mark, and we ask that everyone please respect his and his family's privacy during this time. Okay, so the most important is that he's been upgraded to stable condition. Good. Mark Sanchez was supposed to be calling an NFL game tomorrow. Instead, at one point, he might have been fighting for his life in critical condition. God damn.
Yeah.
Oof. But anyway, point being, Keaton's going to be a bat out of hell tomorrow.
Yeah.
He told us back in April that it's going to be a movie. Okay. And he's had to sit on game day for the first 4 weeks. Now, granted, look, Kyle Joyce called in earlier on. He's our first call. He's like, 6 snaps. That's all he's getting. 6 snaps. And you know what? That might be the case. We may not see a lot of Keaton. But Chef, if he can move the needle in any kind of way with whatever they give him, whatever sample size it is, the Ravens are going to be better for it. He clocked over 20 miles an hour yet again for the first time pre-ACL, or I should say post-ACL, for the first time since it was pre-ACL this offseason. And he looked incredible in the preseason. He looked like he got that extra step back. 2 years, of course. In December, he'll be removed from that serious ACL tear against the Jaguars. So it's a big deal for the Ravens offense, and hopefully a sign of things to come.
Yeah. I just got one more thing in terms of Eric DeCosta trade deadline. I feel like you need more than just defensive tackle. What's his name? Dexter Lawrence would be great. I don't see the Giants letting Dexter Lawrence go, like whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like that's their cash cow on the defensive, whereas just like he still gets butts and seats, even though he's on the defensive side. But he gets butts and seats, so like I don't see them letting him go. But I feel like it needs to be a pair. It needs to be a defensive tackle and a defensive end. There's no threat of us getting to the quarterback with Namdi out for the season. Whether it be from our interior guys or our edge rushers or outside linebackers, there's no threat. It's like they rush and like they get like 1 to 2 good steps and then they just get stood up, or they just stop and they just try and play like a very passive contain. Like even in previous years in the NFL, like you would see guys do a contain, but it's like they would still be actively trying to push the tackle or the guard back to the quarterback just to make him uncomfortable so he can step up in the pocket, then you collapse on him. It's like we just watch them try and contain, but then like they're just kind of peeking around left and right and be like, okay, is he going to go inside? Is he going to go outside? And then by that time, 3-4 seconds have passed. DBs can't cover forever. And then, you get a nice little chunk play for 10-15 yards.
Yeah. They're not scaring anybody.
Yeah.
They're not fearing anybody. They're getting walked all over. They're getting knocked back. They're getting caught in the shuffle of not obviously. I mean, what was it after week 1 or it was week 2? I can't remember what it was. But John Harbaugh said something I think was really telling. He's like, we got to clean up our pass rush lanes. We got to have more integrity with our pass rush lanes. And that to me was like, damn, like that's a pretty big statement to make after 1 week of football. Was it after week 1?
It was definitely after week 1 because Josh Allen, I mean, of course, after that fourth quarter collapse. The Browns game was like kind of a bounce back game, but the thing that this is me putting on my conspiracy theorist hat. After Marlon came out and he said, John said that we aren't mature and blah blah whatever, and then Zach Orr said that like We're not going to have any tolerance for guys not doing their job or blah, blah, whatever. I wonder if that's something to where, not that it made the defensive guys scared to like try and make plays or something, but like if they're in the back of their mind, they're just thinking so much, just like, hey, I'm just going to do my job, to where now you're just, I mean, you're doing your job, but you're not doing more. Like, you know how people always say, just like, when you do a job, make sure you do 110% or something. Put in your best work. But now you got people just doing their job because they're like, hey, I did my job. It's not my fault so and so got by or whatever. Like, as you can see, I was in my lane, I did my job, but like I just stopped there. So I don't know. It's just,
I'm with you, Chef. I'm with you, Chef. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
Have a great weekend. Chef Trez, I thought he was coming after me, but he did not. He chose not to. He spared me. How nice of him. Guys, this episode is brought to you by my friends at Profit X. It's America's #1 sports prediction market. And at Profit X, you get better odds than traditional sports books because you're playing against others, not the house. You can request your own odds, play with confidence, and get super fast payouts straight to your bank, card, or even crypto. If you go to profitx.co today and you use the promo code BobbyB, that's BOBBYB, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Profitx.co takes you to the site that you're seeing up on the screen. And let's see if anything's changed ahead of 1 o'clock tomorrow. The Texans on the road are 1-point favorites in Baltimore with Cooper Rush under center for the Ravens. Over-under is set at 41. I think it was 40 as of yesterday. So let's take a look. That's what's coming up tomorrow. Texans, Ravens, 2 1-3 teams searching for answers. Plenty of desperation should be in part tomorrow on the part of both teams. Coming up at 1 o'clock inside the bank. It's a CBS broadcast. That means J.J. Watt and Ian Eagle will be on the call together. That's going to be awesome. I think J.J. is going to be a tremendous analyst. Do I have a super chat here from Wes Hall? Yes, I do. Wes says, did you see the Kairen Lacy update? I did. And good on his attorney. His legal team, guys, if you haven't found this, oh my God, this is brutal. Former LSU wide receiver, okay? He was found dead in Houston back in April, which I believe, has it been confirmed that it was an apparent suicide? I think it was a suicide, right? And I believe that there was a pursuit of him from law enforcement, which may have led to his decision to take his own life. I think that's what the report was back then. I don't know if that's been confirmed because I just haven't followed the story. I apologize. I'm just getting a super chat here off the cuff, so I'm just reacting to it because I did see the most up-to-date report that there is video evidence. There is video evidence that his legal team has obtained that confirms he was 100 yards. He was 100 yards behind the fatal hit and run. But yet he was charged for that fatal hit and run. That's what video evidence shown. I saw it on Twitter this morning. Now, again, I want to be clear. I have not looked into this thoroughly. I'm just reacting to the super chat. I did not prepare to have this in today's live stream. But Wes, you sent a super chat. I wanted to make sure I reacted to it. That's what I saw this morning on X. That video evidence shows that Kairen was 100 yards behind that hit and run. Terrific. That is absolutely horrific. And I pray for him and his family. Because while his attorney and his legal team have gone to the nth degree, I'm sure worked countless hours to make sure that justice is served ultimately in this, and Kairen's name, most importantly, is cleared, there's no bringing him back. And it is absolutely tragic. That is one of the saddest things that I have seen in a long time. So sad. That is like beyond comprehension. And what a talent he was, by the way. One final call, guys, before we jump. Thanks for the super chat, Wes. And sorry if I didn't get that fully. Hopefully that was thoroughly covered there, because I think that was pretty much how it all went and the news that came out within the last 24 hours or so is ultimately going to clear, hopefully, when it's all said and done, Kairen's name. But there's no bringing him back, which is the saddest part of this entire story. Jewel, talk to me, brother. What you got for me?
Hey, Bobby, I don't want to, take up too much of your time. I know you on a tight little schedule, whatever you want to call it, and you got a date. You ain't forgot about that. Okay. So I'm gonna just make this.
Hey, give us a little bit of natural light on your face here. We can't see shit. It looks like you're standing above the equator.
I'm in my kitchen. This is the only way I can actually
turn away from the light. We want to see that handsome. Come on, Mr. Handsome.
Yeah, it's a little rough right now. So
all right. What you got? For
Well, I was going to say, all right, is this better? Better?
Oh, hey, look at there he is. All right.
Well, I was going to give my prediction and then talk about the game tomorrow, but I'll do that after I talk about the game. And basically Keaton Mitchell. I did say weeks ago that due to them keeping him inactive and not playing him, I was at a point where I was just like, maybe they should just trade him. I was at that point because I'm like, you're keeping this guy on the sideline, and you're saying, oh, we don't have any packages, no plays for him, nothing for him to do. I was like, okay, well, you keeping him cooped up in the doghouse, so to speak. Just trade the guy. I mean, get some value for him, man. It shouldn't come to this point where he has to keep sitting game after game after game when his offense is clearly struggling. And love what Justice Hill does, but he doesn't have the same burst as
wait a
Keaton
second
Mitchell.
now. This guy's got an 8 carries, bro. He's got an 8 carries. We can't do justice like that. He still shows up in the screen game. He's still got great cutting ability. Yes, the ball security was an issue. One sample size so far this year. Yes, some of the blitz pickups has not been as polished as he typically is and was last year. Right. But I can't sit here with a clear conscience, write the guy off as if he's lost a step. Guy's got 8 carries this year, man.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's just we need I'm just saying Keaton Mitchell provides that much needed burst for this offense. I will harken back to what Femi said. Put 2 running backs in the backfield, just switch it up, just have something different for the defense to look forward to, because it seems like every time the defensive coordinators look at this Ravens offense, they're just too predictable. We know what they're going to do. We know what formations they're going to run. Jet sweeps here, maybe slant crossings there, crossing patterns, the same old, route concepts. And let's just switch it up. Make the defense respect what you're going to do, or not expect what you're going to do. Actually, my bad. Expect what you're going to do. Just catch them off guard. And I don't think this Ravens offense does that. So whether they do that this Sunday remains to be seen. But like I said, I'm not too kind of sort of worried about the offense. Is the defense and the defensive pressure is what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, that's what I'm concerned about.
Deservedly so.
How are they going to get after C.J. Stroud, regardless if he's struggling or not? I mean, if he has a clean pocket, if he's on, he's on. We've seen how he is, even though he hasn't been the same since his rookie season. But don't take that away from what he is. He's a good player, so he's capable of doing it. So how do you get after him? Whether it's whoever is back there, maybe it's Mike Green, you unleash him and keep him as a strictly rushing the passer, not put him in coverage. He's not. That's not what he's about. That's not what he was brought in here for. Whether you unleash Travis Washington, Robinson, my bad. Travis Washington, Robinson.
Ooh,
Robinson, Tavius Robinson, my bad. I'm sorry. I came from a walk.
Travis Washington, Travis Robinson. I'm thinking,
I'm
wait,
getting all these guys' names confused.
What are we talking about right now?
Tavius Robinson. That's what I meant. Sorry.
All right,
Don't
brother.
mind me.
I get your point, though. I think it's well taken. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm sure we'll catch up with you on pregame coverage.
All right, Bobby.
Later, man. And unfortunately, sorry for the rest of the guest line. It is bumping right now. I've already done 90-plus minutes, and I am up against the clock, unfortunately. So we got to jump. I will be back with you guys. The guest lines will be open coming up on pregame. I know everybody's got their hands in the air right now. I see it in the live chat, in the waiting room. I just can't I can't get to everybody today, unfortunately. I'm going to have to start getting a timer in here. It's 30 or 60 seconds, but I got to be on the run. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group. Thanks to all of you for spending part of your Saturdays with me. Got a busy day, busy weekend, and of course, week 5 is where we are. Ravens and Texans, 1 o'clock at the bank, coming up tomorrow. That feels, and maybe is, a must-win moment for a depleted Baltimore Ravens team. Like the video on your way out, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. And guys, man, now more than ever, stay safe out there. Take care of yourself and others around you, whether you know them or not, and have an awesome weekend. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow for pregame coverage.